Hello and welcome to News Now. The United Nations Children Fund has called on the Nigerian government to provide intensive support for the 21 freed Chibok schoolgirls to safeguard their future. UNICEF made the call in a statement signed by its country representative Gianfranco Rotigliano. Rotigliano said the emotional reunification of the 21 girls kidnapped by Boko Haram after more than 2 years highlights the need for intensive support for women and girls who have been held by the group. He said UNICEF was ready to provide medical attention and psychosocial support so they can begin to come to terms with their experiences and reintegrate with their families and communities. The Nigerian Senate on Tuesday confirmed President Muhammadu Buhari's nominees as justices of the Supreme Court. The judges who were confirmed by the Senate are Ejembi Eko of Benue State and Amina Augi of Kebbi State. Both of them had been recommended by the National Judicial Council for appointment as justices of the Supreme Court. Now, their confirmation comes in the midst of a corruption probe on the judiciary. The DSS is currently investigating 7 judges for allegations of corruption, while the EFCC is conducting a separate investigation on 8 other Nigerian judges and 2 court registrars. Justice Adeni Ademola, the judge handling the trial of the former National Security Advisor Colonel Sambo Dasuki, has withdrawn from the case. Justice Ademola, who is also one of the 7 judges under investigation by the Department of State Services, announced his withdrawal from the trial at the resumption of the case on Tuesday. He cited allegations of corruption leveled against him by the DSS, which is the prosecution in the case, as a reason for his action. After he was arrested and released by the DSS, Ademola had alleged that the raid on his home was meant to punish him for the rulings actually he'd given in favor of Dasuki and the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu. He had previously granted bail to Dasuki, but the former NSA is yet to be released. Members of the Nigerian Senate have asked President Muhammadu Buhari to issue a proclamation for the holding of a population and housing census in 2018. The Senate also asked the Ministry of Budget and National Planning to make provisions for the national census in the 2017 budget. The resolutions followed a motion sponsored by 6 senators in the House. Nigeria last held census in 2006, and it was expected another one would hold in 2016, but the National Population Commission said resources and time for proper planning served as constraints, thereby putting the exercise off to 2018. The death toll in an attack by unknown armed gunmen in Godogodo village in Jama local government area of Kaduna State, northwestern Nigeria, has risen to 44. The incident, which happened on Sunday, also forced the interim chairman of the community, Humble Katuka, to impose a 24-hour curfew on the local government. The Kaduna State government has already condemned the attack, promising to ensure that the killers face the full wrath of the law. The incident comes barely 2 months after a similar attack in the state, which claimed 17 lives. The Nigerian Air Force says it has destroyed some illegal refineries in Nigeria's restive Niger Delta region. A statement from the force said the refineries were destroyed by the Nigerian Air Force aircraft in Bili community, Rivers State. The Air Force also warned crude oil thieves to desist from their action, saying it will continue with its operation in the region until the area becomes safe for genuine economic activities. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Navy says it has arrested several crude oil thieves in various operations in the country's restive Niger Delta region. A statement from the Navy also revealed that it had destroyed some illegal refineries in the region. The Nigerian Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, says the country's current economic situation problems are because of the government's poor policies. Speaking at a press conference in Abuja on Tuesday, President of the union, Biodun Ogunyemi, said despite the recent efforts of the current administration, corruption still remains a big issue in Nigeria. He warns that the country cannot develop until corruption is completely eradicated from the society.
A critical evaluation of Nigeria's development policies and agenda since independence has demonstrated obvious inadequacies and inabilities to address the overall development objectives and needs of Nigerians in all its ramifications. The embraced neoliberal political economic agenda by the ruling class has simply aggravated the deepening process of Nigeria's underdevelopment. It has created a tiny class of billionaires who serves as agents of the capitalist institutions and an array of deprived citizens who are not better than slaves in their own country. The state's withdrawal policy of government, selling off of our Commonwealth, political violence, kidnapping, and all other social and economic political problems confronting Nigeria confirm the failure and lack of vision of Nigeria's political class to propel Nigeria into the developmental path. Nigerians must, at this point, confront the problems. We must ask questions. We must demand answers on how Nigeria got to this stage. How did we get here? We must demand for alternative to neoliberal agenda that reinforces our impoverished conditions, frustrate our dreams, and promote a tiny class.
Nigeria Senate President Bukola Saraki says the anti-corruption fight by the current administration should not be a tool of political witch hunt, but a collective responsibility of everybody to rid the country of impunity and hardship. Speaking at the ongoing ceremony of the National Anti-Corruption Summit in Abuja, Saraki said the anti-corruption fight must remain driven by a well-articulated and delivered strategy which cuts across all aspects of the political and social systems. He also said anti-corruption agencies must be free from political interference because, according to him, political interference affects the credibility of the agencies. The Lagos State government has clarified its decision to demolish some illegal structures and shanties erected along the river banks in the state. Addressing journalists in Alausa, the state's Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Steve Ayorinde, said the move was in line with government's pursuit of its policy on a cleaner environment. He also cited security concerns and flagrant abuse of its building regulations as the core reasons. Explaining further, the commissioner said most of the buildings marked for demolition did not comply with the required conditions, adding that a failure to demolish them could have had fatal consequences. We'll take a short break here, and News Now will be right back.
The Wole Soyinka Center for Investigative Journalism, WSCIJ, invites professional Nigerian journalists and team of journalists, full or part-time, with stories published between the 4th of October 2015 and the 3rd of October 2016 to submit entries for the 11th Wole Soyinka Award for Investigative Reporting. Award categories include print, radio, television, photo, online, and editorial cartoon. Submission deadline Monday 24th October 2016 by 4 p.m. All entries to be submitted at the WSCIJ office, number 18A, Abiodun Shobanjo Street, off Latif Jakonde Road, Agidimbi, Ikeja, Lagos. For more information, please visit wscij.org or call 0908-251-5179. Investigative reporting is the vital force for the restoration of human dignity. Wole Soyinka.
Welcome back. Nigeria's aviation woes are set to continue as two foreign airlines are about to suspend flights operations from the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. While Emirates intends to suspend its flights from Saturday, October the 22nd, Kenyan Airways has served notice to follow suit from Tuesday, November 15th. According to Emirates, the reason for its decision is irregularities in the foreign currency repatriation policy of Nigeria. Prior to Emirates' complaint, a number of airlines had pulled out of Nigeria owing to hardship in repatriating foreign currency on naira-denominated tickets sold in the country, coupled with the hardship in getting aviation fuel. To address this, the CBN last week approved a special secondary market intervention retail sales for airlines operating in the country. Now, the important one-off exercise is dedicated to the clearance of the backlog of matured foreign exchange obligations. The Central Bank of Nigeria has raised the exchange rate for bureau de change operators to 385 naira per dollar. According to the bank, the decision is to encourage Nigerians in the diaspora to use official channels to transfer earnings back home. Meanwhile, the naira also appreciated at the interbank market to 305 naira to the dollar on Tuesday, following the intervention by the CBN. The bank is also expected to license 20 new international money transfer operators in the coming weeks to handle an estimated $21 billion annual diaspora remittances into the country. Nigeria's Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Ibe Kachuku, says the country is seeking a $15 billion advance oil payments from the Indian government to stem Nigeria's cash flow challenges. The deal will see the Indian government make an upfront payment for crude purchase to Nigeria to be repaid on the basis of firm-term crude contracts over some years. According to the minister, who is currently on a 3-day visit to India, the deals from the negotiations will involve Indian public sector companies collaborating in the refining sector as well as exploration and production activities on a government-to-government basis. Now, crude oil prices clawed back minor gains on Tuesday following an overnight decline, but trading is expected to be muted now that the market has priced in a potential production cut. Brent crude was $51.79 a barrel, while U.S. crude was $50.39 a barrel. Oil prices have been trading in the $48 to $53 a barrel bracket since the preliminary deal was announced in late September. But some market watchers say the news has been largely priced in and the market now has little fuel to sustain momentum. The ruling party in the Democratic Republic of Congo and one opposition faction have proposed delaying the presidential election until April 2018. The proposal comes after the Constitutional Court approved a request from the Electoral Commission to delay the polls. The vote was due in November, but electoral officials now say more time is needed to register voters. President Joseph Kabila's second and final term comes to an end in December, and he is under pressure to step down. Last month, protests against moves to delay the poll resulted in at least 50 deaths. An EU commissioner has warned the European Union to prepare for returning jihadists if the so-called Islamic State is driven out of its Iraqi stronghold Mosul. Iraqi forces launched what is expected to be a lengthy offensive on Monday, with as many as 5,000 IS fighters believed to remain in Mosul. Now, Julian King told a German newspaper that even a small number of militants would pose a serious threat that we must prepare ourselves for. Quoting him now, he says the threat of IS fighters returning to Europe after the fall of Mosul was, quote, very serious. The Nigerian Football Federation has commiserated with the family of Shooting Star Sports Club of Ibadan defender Izu Joseph, who was killed on Sunday after he was hit by a stray bullet in Bayelsa State, southern Nigeria. The NFF president Amaju Pinnick in a statement said he was distraught by the incident, adding that the country has lost a special asset. The league management company has also condoled with the family of the late footballer, assuring that the body was ready to provide the family with any necessary financial support. The defender died while holidaying in his hometown of Okaki in Bayelsa State from gunshot injuries. Manchester United manager Jose Mourinho has praised his team for subduing Anfield after they held informed Liverpool to a goalless draw in the English Premier League. Mourinho also hit out at Liverpool for their cautious approach and insisted that his team was the better side on the day. The Red Devils have won only one of their last 5 league games and remain 7th in the league, 3 points below 4th placed Liverpool and 5 points off leaders Manchester City. And while Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp says he is pleased with the attitude of his players after the goalless draw with Manchester United, but admitted they could have played better. Police in the United States have arraigned 3 men for the shooting which led to the death of Trinity Gay, the daughter of U.S. Olympic sprinter Tyson Gay. The 3 men were arraigned in court on Tuesday for charges bordering on wanton endangerment and possession of a firearm. They all pleaded not guilty to the charges and have been granted bail for $5,000. 15-year-old Trinity Gay died after she was hit by a stray bullet amid an exchange of gunfire between two parked vehicles at a restaurant in Kentucky. Trinity was following in his father's footsteps as a talented sprinter in school and was placed in the top 5 for several events in the Kentucky state competitions. Quite a sad one there for Tyson Gay, quite sad. It's on that note we end news now. We thank you very much for watching. Continue to stay tuned to TV360.